there is just something about the way that the state is trying to present this case that is so, it feels so grimy. Is that the word? Is that the word y'all would use to describe it? I feel like the word is grimy. It feels like they really are trying to do a by any means necessary type of thing, as if they don't have ethical standards they have to adhere to. And I'm just trying to figure out, do these people want to continue being lawyers after this case? Because right now, the way it's seeming is that they're willing to go so far to win that they're even willing to put their career on the line. That's what it's looking like to me. Like, are you willing to go that far to violate somebody's rights just so you could say you won this case? And it's looking like a case that you're not even going to win. You might get a couple sprinkles of convictions on some of these charges, but some of them, some of the stuff you're doing a terrible job proving. I will say though, the person that they want, the big fish, is Young Thug. And if y'all noticed that the only thing they charged him with was RICO and the gang charge. So really, they're essentially saying he didn't commit a crime. He's just affiliated with all these other people that was committing crimes. That's pretty much what they're saying. They're not saying he's a kingpin. They're not saying he's selling drugs. They didn't say he shot anybody. They didn't say he attempted to shoot anybody. They didn't say he punched somebody in the face. They didn't say he even spit on somebody. They're saying he was in a gang. The gang he was in, they were committing crimes, terrorizing the streets. And this whole thing is a RICO, so we don't even need to prove that he did anything. Tell me that's like they're just setting themselves up for this whole thing to get thrown out at the appeal, even if they do get a conviction on something. Adam said he will put up his, I know what he was saying. He's put up his bar card. He didn't say that. Adam said that Brian still offered up his bar card against Miss Love's bar card. If he was lying about what they were arguing about, he would give his bar card up and stop being a lawyer. That's how sure he was. But hold on though, that happened on Wednesday, so that's like we're not gonna get into that yet because we got to go. I try to go in chronological order. Let's keep this thing sequential. Hold on. I had to get some water because it's gonna be a lot of talking going on now. So let's get right into it. Right, Monday they started out. Let me look at my notes. Let's see. Monday they started out, and let me see. Argument over evidence being allowed in DK interviews. Okay, yeah, they started out arguing. Of course, that's what they always do. DK was still on the stand. I'm trying to think. Was DK on the stand? Wait, no. I'm tripping. DK wasn't on the stand. The lady. So pretty much they was arguing about interview from DK that DK did with the investigators back in 2015 and 2016. And pretty much the defense is still arguing some of the same stuff that, this is repetitive. Why are they playing this again? We already got all this information. First of all, they never introduced this. They're trying to say that this evidence or this video of the interrogation, or what they call an interview, this video is important because it shows a conflict in the testimony. Pretty much he said one thing on the stand and then he said another thing when he was in that interrogation room, and he's claiming that he doesn't remember anything and that's why he didn't answer the questions properly. So that's what the state is saying. And the judge pretty much agreed, and he said, they can play it because there's definitely been some conflict, or there's been some inconsistencies is what they've been saying. Right. So the judge agreed, let them play it. And then, they started playing it for Gaither. I agreed with, and of course I'm nobody, I have no power in this and I'm not a legal expert, but I understand why the defense keeps on saying, if you have what they call prior inconsistent statements, you should be confronting the witness that you're impeaching with those prior inconsistent statements. Why are you using, you're trying to impeach, you're trying to bring up these old interviews as, for impeachment of another witness, but you never even confronted Walter Murphy with the stuff that he said that was incorrect. I guess supposedly the way the defense is arguing it, and I'm just going by what they're saying. Hold on. Let me. Yes, they are. The defense is arguing, the defense is not saying that, he didn't have prior inconsistent statements. They're saying that you're supposed to confront that witness with those statements. You're not supposed to just use it for anybody just to make that person look like a liar. Let me address this comment real quick. Joshua Gore said, no, they're saying he's the leader. Yeah, they're saying he's the leader. I'm saying that he's not charged as a kingpin. I'm just saying they're saying he's the leader. He can call shots and all that, but his actual charges are just being in the gang. And then the RICO one, he's not actually being charged with I was like he doesn't have a gang leader charge is what I'm saying. I'm just saying he just has the same general gang charge that everybody else in the case has. So now back to the and Paris, for whatever reason, your message went away. So I saw it a little bit, but then it went away. I felt like the defense was right. Like if it's prior inconsistent statements with his testimony, you should be confronting that person with those. And that's what they did with Adrian Bean. They also used his statements with Detective Quinn, but they made Adrian Bean sit there and listen to his own jail calls and say, why did you say this on the phone call? But right now you're saying something different. So they did address it with Adrian Bean, but now with Walter Murphy, they didn't do that. And they just pretty much wanted to bring it up with former detective Gaither. So now I did have a clip of that. Let's see if we can bring that clip in there. Y'all gonna have to give me a second to pull it up because let's give me a second to pull it up. And we're gonna be in and out of the clips because I made a folder full of assets for this episode. So we're gonna you know what? I know what's going on here. I know what I have to do. Give me a second. Now, one thing that the judge did say is that he's agreeing with the defense when they say that some of this stuff is cumulative, meaning y'all are using a bunch of evidence to say the same thing. Y'all are using a bunch of witnesses to say the same exact stuff. It's becoming repetitive and it's dragging. Excuse me. And the judge agreed. He said, y'all like pretty much hurry some of this stuff up. And when they start objecting to some of this cumulative stuff, I am going to sustain these objections. Like y'all keep on going over the same thing. Even the state is like, no, we're not really doing that. The judge is like, yes, you have. I done heard the same thing about 5 times. Like people are saying the same exact stuff up here. Even a judge said that. Hold on, y'all. Let's get this clip popping.
Your Honor, there's no need for this witness.
Give me a second, y'all. Let me hold on. Brian Steele, Brian Steele and Keith Adams is a dynamic duo. I'm not gonna lie. This is looking a lot like Rob Kardashian and my man Johnny Cochran and 28 years ago when they was defending OJ. It's looking very Shaq and Kobe-ish up there. I'm not gonna lie. And Max Shard is very what's good, Matt? Max Shard, who y'all feel like Max Shard? If that's Shaq and Kobe, Max Shard is Rob Horry. I'm not gonna lie, he been hitting buzzer beaters. Like some of his arguments, I'm loving what Max Shard is bringing to the table. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie at all to y'all, man. Max Shard is giving some arguments that I'm really a fan of, and he's bringing the arguments when they when Brian Steele might miss something or he knows he's playing, pick up, getting those rebounds and bringing it back. He's for sure making it happen. All right, give me a second, y'all. Wait. What? All right, something's going wrong here. Okay, man, what is happening here? Give me a second, man. I'm gonna just play the audio because I don't know why. This is let's just play some of this audio here.
To be an expert, all she's doing is corroborating and supporting her coworker. This is like a vouching improperly. This is like another summation, and it's coming from one of the case agents or lead detectives who is saying the exact same things.
Well, that would have been a challenge for me at that point in time, but you didn't object to it. But yes, you're absolutely right. It probably would have been something that I would have probably had to think about. So yes, but I still gave you the opportunity to voir dire the witness and make that particular record prior to my ruling.
And I've waived that opportunity intelligently, knowingly, because the jury was here. But I did ask you if I can have a out of the presence of the jury hearing to determine expertise, and you said no.
Okay. So did y'all hear that? Now there's a couple vocabulary words that we really got to get. Let me see what Paris said. Man, Gaither and Belknap both saying the same thing about the super slimy cover actually made me so mad because they were speculating and colluding to make their stick. Yeah, that's true. Now, can y'all see that? Can y'all see what I have on the screen right now? Right? Vouching, and I felt like that was important because vouching is something that it kind of goes in line with the whole. Y'all let me know. I feel like I'm frozen or something right now. On the y'all let me know if y'all can see what I'm reading right now. So vouching, the court wrote that improper vouching occurs when the prosecutor either suggests the evidence not available to the jury supports their argument, invokes his or her personal prestige or depth of experience or the prestige of reputation of the office in support of the argument. Now, the reason I felt like vouching was important because I needed to understand, first of all, what this word was that Brian Steele kept on inserting in this situation when he was discussing this expert witness. But two, I thought he was really saying something else. But once I looked it up, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Improper vouching is pretty much where you have this expert witness, and when you hear multiple expert witnesses, especially saying the same thing that essentially the state is saying, it kind of like tricks the jury into thinking the state is being factual because the expert says the same thing that they say. So that's why he called it improper vouching. You see what I'm saying? And it's not to say that a witness can't say or agree with whatever the state is saying. It's to say improperly, they keep on doing this. They keep on using these expert witnesses to pretty much say the same thing the state is saying. But the reason these expert witnesses are saying the same thing is because they work together. They have the same training. They do the same job. Of course, they're going to say the same thing. He even used the example that if you ask me, Brian Steele is saying, if you ask me as Brian Steele and Keith Adams to describe this case, we'll probably both say the same thing because we work together. Of course, we think the same thing about this case. So that's what he's saying about this improper vouching. Now, there's another term that so then the judge is like, I gave you a chance to voir dire the witness or whatever. So then let's look at what that word means because I thought that was interesting and I wanted to figure out what in the world is he talking about. Again, we got to really pick up on these words so that because they're going to be using these words for the next year or whatever. And we got to look them up to figure out what they're talking about. So a voir dire is a French term. It means to speak the truth. And normally it's used when they're selecting jurors. So normally when they get the jurors in there and they go through all this long selection process to say, what are your biases? What do you do for a living? Your demographics, information, all that. And we're going to see if you will make a good candidate to be a jurist or a juror member in this case. But when it comes to expert witnesses, let's see, the preliminary questioning of a witness, especially experts, to determine their competence to testify. So essentially the judge is saying, Brian Steele, I gave you the opportunity to voir dire the witness, which pretty much means we could have brought this witness up there before they testified before the jury came in to make them qualify as to why they should be an expert witness, right? So essentially is they would have asked her a bunch of questions, like they would have asked Gaither, pretty much, what are you going to say up here that's substantive, that's different from what Belknap already said, that's going to actually add to this case, that's going to show you don't have a bias against this person and all that. So why can you be an expert? And if they would have failed that speak the truth test, pretty much, then they would have essentially said, no, you can't be an expert witness. You need to just be a fact witness and tell us what you learned when you were investigating just the crimes. Essentially meaning she wouldn't have been able to go through her whole gang history and all this knowledge that she has about gangs and, you know, what colors they wear and what signs they throw up with their hands. She wouldn't have been able to do that. Right. So that's what those things mean. And I just wanted to make sure that we went through that. So essentially, they spent a long time just still going through the clip from the gas station. Like this was dragging on. They was going through the clip from the gas station, pretty much having investigator Gaither do the same thing they had DK do, which was go play by play and say everything that was essentially happening in the video. Who was this person that got out of the car? And it was funny to me that last week Max Shard was like, or no, they argued like pretty much why is this person giving play by play on this gas station video when she wasn't even there. And then Attorney Love flipped it on Shard and said, that's interesting that you would say that because you're the one that had DK do the same exact thing for parts of the video where he wasn't there either. And of course, the judge sided with the state on that because Shard, that was a funny argument when you did the exact same thing. So, yeah, I thought that was funny. But so they going through here, they asking, Gaither, who is that person? What are they doing? Does it appear that they're, talking to each other? Or this person walking to the store, who was that? Are they holding a gun? What does that gun look like? They did that whole thing. Took forever. It felt like it took forever to me. Y'all let me know how long it felt like it took to y'all. Now let's see here.